Imagine the world around 10,000 years ago. The Earth was changing rapidly. Glaciers were melting, forests were returning, and humans had already spread across nearly every corner of the planet. We were emerging from the last ice age, stepping into a new era filled with dramatic transformations in climate, technology, and lifestyle. This was when the first real foundations of civilization began to take shape. Tools were getting more advanced, people were starting to settle down, and most importantly, agriculture, the root of modern society, was beginning to take hold. It was one of the biggest turning points in human history. Of course, not every important discovery or event happened exactly 10,000 years ago. Archaeological sites and cultural changes don't fit neatly into one specific year. So to understand this period more clearly, we'll be looking at the broader range, about 12,000 to 8,000 years ago. That gives us a better view of what humanity was actually doing during this key transition in history. Back then, the climate was changing dramatically. For tens of thousands of years, the planet was locked in a deep freeze, covered in massive glaciers. But around 11,700 years ago, Earth's orbit began to shift, triggering a natural warming phase. The Ice Age ended, and the Holocene epoch began. Melting glaciers caused sea levels to rise, about 7.5 meters or 24 feet in just under 2 centuries. Even so, sea levels were still lower than they are today. That meant many regions that are now underwater were still dry land back then. People were living on those lands, hunting, gathering, and building early cultures. The loss of those regions as the waters rose would have had a huge impact on where people could live, hunt, and grow food. But it wasn't just about the environment, humans themselves were starting to change how they lived. This was the dawn of the agricultural revolution. People stopped roaming the land full-time and started planting crops, raising animals, and building more permanent homes. That shift is known as the Neolithic Revolution. It didn't happen everywhere at once. In West Asia, around 10,000 years ago, early farmers began domesticating plants like wheat, barley, lentils, and flax. But agriculture also emerged independently in other parts of the world. Africa, the Americas, Southeast Asia, and New Guinea, all developing their own staple crops. Each region had different resources and different timelines, but the changes were equally profound. This revolution didn't just change how we got food, it changed everything. It laid the groundwork for population growth, village life, social hierarchies, and the birth of civilizations. But it came with a price. Health actually declined in many early farming communities. Diets became less diverse, relying heavily on grains and starches instead of a wide variety of wild plants and animals. Living close together in settled villages meant diseases spread more easily. And farming itself was hard work,